This is a production of KMmedia.pro. Welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. Our goal is simple: to explore evolving ideas one conversation at a time. So come on over into our world. I know you'll like it, because on today's show, we were going to have a young gentleman who has been on the show before, and he's a lot of fun. Unfortunately, he was at a convention in Las Vegas, and this is kind of a point that I want to make to everybody. He was in a convention in Vegas, and he flew home, and as he put it, typhoid COVID came and got him, and so he now is resting at home, and we wish him the best. So with that, I want to bring in my friend Eric. First of all, Eric, how are you?
Good afternoon, Kevin. Happy sunny Wednesday. And I don't have COVID, so I'm going to consider it a good day.
It is a good day. And I tell you, it's interesting because I would have thought that COVID was, I think you don't hear about it in the news as much anymore, but there's still people getting sick from it. And he's never been sick from it.
Yeah.
You know, so I guess that means we all still need to be careful. Is that a fair?
It absolutely makes sense that if you're feeling any of those symptoms, that you should first, check if you have COVID, but also try and stay home, so you're not spreading it.
Yeah. So it's important. But what we thought we'd do today for fun is, I've been around for a long time. I started in 2003. But there's a lot of folks that are listening today that weren't around back then, or were doing something else, or were maybe 5. And so they weren't necessarily listening. So we have a new co-host. Her name is Cayetana. And she is going to come and kind of co-host the show today. And she's going to ask me all kinds of uncomfortable questions that then I have to answer, or something like that. So, Cayetana, welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Got to unmute.
Oh, you're on mute.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah. Hi. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you for inviting me here today.
Well, you were coming regardless. Your role has since changed a little bit, because we were going to interview the gentleman together, but he'll be back on the show at another date when he's feeling a lot better. So we just thought we'd take the opportunity, because you haven't been in my world very long, and I'm sure that there are lots of questions that you have that you don't know about me, the show, what I used to do, and all that kind of stuff. And I thought it would be fun to give you the opportunity to take the reins and run the show for a little bit. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Well, good.
From now, yes, and I think from now I need to apologize if I make any mistakes along the way. I'm going to try to be you. It's going to be me interviewing you.
Well, I can only tell you this. You'd have to gain 100 pounds. No, I'm kidding. But you'll never be me. You're far prettier and more effervescent, and you've got a great smile. And we enjoy having you along with us to go down this journey together. So it's great fun.
It's been incredible, the journey, and everything I'm learning here, becoming part of this family is incredible. Thank you so much. Every day.
Well, I was just going to say, I want to thank you for saying part of the family, because indeed we feel like you are.
Yes. Thank you. That's the way I feel. I think things happen sometimes, mysterious ways. And every day I remember that little text from Holly, and here I am. I'm so happy.
Well, we are happy to have you. And so what do you want to do? What do you want to take? What do you want to do? What do you want to take?
I'm gonna ask you a few questions about your journey, because I'm curious. I want to know, and I'm pretty sure some people, new listeners, want to know as well. So I'm gonna start just asking you the first one, probably the most basic one. Is since you have been born and raised in Seattle, how how has your hometown influenced your approach to positive talk radio and your mission?
Oh my goodness, that is a really good question. Well, I got to tell you, and I don't know how many of you are native Seattleites or native Puget Sounders, but there was a time years ago when we were much smaller. We didn't have a football team. We didn't have a baseball team. We didn't have a hockey team or a women's basketball team. We had just the Seattle Supersonics. And it was a much different place back then. It was much, people were a lot friendlier. Traffic wasn't nearly as bad. So that had a great deal to do. The 60s and the 70s had a great deal to do with my life and the direction that ultimately I wanted to take it, because I really felt that we as people should get along and work together, and part of that was because of growing up in the Seattle area. In those days, if people will remember, if you were here, it was a kinder, gentler place, and people used to say hi to each other. I know that's hard to believe, but walking down the street, people would smile at you and stuff like that. So it's changed a bit, but that kind of was the beginning of my influence.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I moved to Seattle in 2002, and I have noticed, so many changes in the city. Of course, even myself, the way I came and the way I thought at the same during that time to the woman that I am right now, have become part of this place. I think I used to say that I'm not rooted to here, but I feel like I have lived the longest in Seattle, and I'm so rooted to this place. So I'm connected to the energy of Seattle, and I know if I leave someday, I'm gonna move to Europe or somewhere else, I'm gonna miss it so much, because this has been where I have met most of my family, chosen family.
Exactly. And I like to kid around and say that I live in Seattle because we don't have snakes, but that's actually very true. We don't have big spiders, we don't have snakes, and it's we don't have chitters or chiggers or a lot of ticks and all. So we're really blessed here. And if you don't believe that you're blessed to live in Seattle, let me tell you something. Go move someplace else for a while and you'll want to come back, trust me.
Yeah, the rain. I love the rain. I love the rain in Seattle. It's like purifying us all the time.
Exactly. Exactly. And you get used to it and you get to the point where
Mhm.
I wish it would rain, and because it cleans out the air and it smells so good after a good rain.
Oh my God, yes. Remember when I was a little girl? I love walking right after the rain, and I hear the frogs, making their noise. The smell. Yeah, I love it.
Indeed. So it's
I'm
great.
afraid of frogs, but I do love the noise, after the rain when they're so happy.
Exactly. Everybody, rain adds, even though it may be, we might consider it kind of a inconvenience, but it makes everything green. It
Yes.
makes everything alive, and
Yeah.
I love living in a place that's so alive.
Yes, me too. Can you tell us how was the beginning of your positive talk radio journey? When the moment you decided, I'm gonna change gears, I'm gonna change everything I'm doing, and I want to do this. I want to give this gift to people.
Well, the interesting thing is, I didn't start off doing wanting to do radio necessarily. What happened was, and this happens. I just did a podcast with a gal, and it'll be coming up on positivetalkradio.net, and she's got a book that's out that's called 2 Feet In. And the idea was that there comes a point in your life when you say, why am I really here? What am I really here to do? I had been a mid-level manager, and I had the house and the wife and the kids and the dog and the cat and the fence and all that stuff. But I didn't really feel like I was fulfilled. I didn't really feel like I was living the life that I was put here to live. And so ended up one night. I was frustrated by it, and we were sitting. It was Thanksgiving, in 2002, I believe. And we were sitting there with a couple of friends, and I was saying those very things, and they looked at each other and they said, we've been talking about the same things. So we formed a little group, the four of us, and we decided to learn about meditation and spirit guides and the universe and everything that went along with it. And we got really interested in it, and we joined a little spiritual community, and it was a lot of fun. I learned about Wayne Dyer, Neil Donald Walsh, Gary Zukav, all of the people of the day that were doing, Dr. Michael Newton doing some incredible work. And so we did this for about 6 months, and this friend of ours, his name is Mark, he called me one day and he said, we need to put this on television. We need to have a television show to talk about all this. And I said, well, and I was, in management and stuff and had a nice career. And I said, well, I don't know. Well, I'll look into it. And I did. And there really wasn't anything in television that you could do, but you could buy time on the radio, and you could buy like a couple hours, a block of time to put up the show that you wanted to put up. So I mentioned that to him, and he got all excited about it. And he said, we're going to be on the side of a bus. Have you ever seen, like the radio people that are on the side of a bus and stuff, and it's advertising? And so we decided to do that. And we went to a station in Tacoma called KLAY. And we did Tuesday and Thursday nights from 7 to 9. And we were talking about all of these things and stuff. And I really was enthralled with it, because we actually could have an impact on people. People would call in. They were asking about meditating. In those days, 20 years ago, it really wasn't what it is today. And as easy, even yoga back then was considered a kind of an out there woo-woo thing. And meditation was, and all of the things that we were learning. And so we did that, and we had guests on, and we had a great time. Well, over the course of time, my job situation changed. Mark went away, but when Mark decided he didn't want to do the show anymore, then a lot of people would say, well, then you just can't do the show anymore. And I said, nope, I am too. I am too. You can't stop me. And so I kept doing that until at the beginning of 2003, U.S. Food Service came in and bought the company that I was working for. And KKNW at the same time flipped their format. So KKNW was at that time was a CNN affiliate, and they would run CNN News all the time. And they flipped their format to what they call a block programming format, where you could buy the time that's the same format that they use today. I'm eternally grateful to KKNW, because over the last 20 years, off and on, I've been able to do a number of different shows and have enjoyed the time, and you can do it as an independent. So I went and I bought 2 hours a day, 5 days a week, and started with the name Spirit Talk, which is what we started with, but that name didn't resonate as well. And so then it changed to put this on a business card: the Kevin McDonald Show, Positive Talk in the Afternoon. It would take way too long.
Way too long.
And so it became Positive Talk Radio. And so we did that until an unfortunate situation happened when when you buy time from a radio station, you sign a contract, and then you're paying X number of dollars per hour and that kind of thing. Well, when you run out of money, they don't, because that's their business model, they have to say, see ya. And so we had that conversation, and the studio or the station manager said, or I said to him, can I have one more show? And he said, I thought it was very nice of them. He said, yeah, you can have one more show. And so I went on the air and announced that the show was having to go off the air. See, Cayetana, I had no idea, because you've been to the studio, I think, haven't you?
No, I haven't been to the studio just yet. No.
I need to take you to the
Yeah.
studio because
Yeah.
you're sitting in a room, and it's a beautiful room on the fifth floor of a building in Factoria. We get a panoramic view of Seattle and Bellevue and the Olympics and stuff, but you're still in a room with the board operator. In this case, it was Eric way back when, and he looks the exact same now as he did then. And but you don't know who you're reaching. You have no idea if anybody's actually listening to the airwaves and to the show that you're doing. And so you don't know. But I announced half hour into the show that we were sadly going to have to go off the air, and the phone lines filled up with people that were upset that the show was going off the air. One lady said, "I'm sitting here looking at a pile of books I bought because of your show, and I can't believe that you're going off the air." And I tried to explain it to everybody. It wasn't the station's fault. It was my own internal company's issues and stuff. But the more I talked to people, the more they were really genuinely upset that the show was going off the air. And one gal said, I had a gentleman by the name of Jerry Armour, who was a biochemist, and he had a health food store. And she said, my health is so much better because of Jerry. And we had a naturopath, and because of her. And she'd had breast cancer and was not doing well. And her health had improved immeasurably. And she said, it's because of you in this show that my health is better. Then it began to dawn on me what kind of an impact, positive impact, we were having on people's lives. And so one gal called, and I've told this story for 20 years because it was the story that defined it all. And that was a gal called from Bainbridge Island. Her name is Carol. And she said, I just want you to know that we're devastated that the show's going off the air. And I said, well, I appreciate that, and I'm sorry, but this is, and I explained, and she said, no, I understand all that, but we're still devastated, but there's something you don't know. I'm an Alzheimer's caregiver, and she is sitting right here, and she and I listen to your show every day because you can still reach her. Whenever you laugh, she goes, there he goes again. And and I know that she's passed now and stuff, but that told me that was my life's work, and that's what I should be doing. Even though I had to leave that day, I left with a purpose, and that was to one day to come back. And who knew 20 years later, one day I'd be sitting doing the same thing for the same reasons. So I know that was longer than.
No, it's great. No, for so long, because obviously you're here because you still have people who believe in you around. They listen to you every day. The message that we give in the show is the positivism, and of upliftment and doing beautiful things for ourselves every single day. Yeah, I can understand why she was upset. I buy the books that I whenever you have a guest in here, or people that I listen to the podcasts, and they invite someone who has written a book that resonates with me, I'm constantly buying it, because we believe that the people that are invited to the channel, into our podcast, are people who want to give a beautiful message of change, I don't know, like beautiful things.
Yes, ma'am. That is our mission, and even the authors that we have on, we do vet the books, and we want to make sure that they are of a positive nature, and it's something that can benefit humanity.
Yeah, I hear you. For those looking to create positive change in their own lives and communities, what advice do you have? Based on your journey and experience?
To reach out, to be kind, to talk to people, and really mean the interaction that you're having with them. You don't have to be on the radio. You don't have to be doing what I'm doing now. I was a bus driver for 12 years, and in between the radio thing. And when I was a bus driver, I impacted a lot of people's lives just by being human, just by being kind, just by saying hello. There are people that ride the bus that nobody ever says hello to. They may be homeless, they may have a drug addiction, and you may be the only person who says anything nice to them all day long. And it's important for us to start there. And then if you're called, write a book. If you're called to do what I do, do what I do. Go speak someplace. Go volunteer. Even if it's just walking a dog or doing something for humanity and for the good of each other. Stop listening to the news so much. There's nothing you can do about it anyway, but relax and enjoy your family and your friends, and do it from a positive way, a positive nature. If everybody would just do that, for heaven's sakes, we would be in a far, far better place than we are today.
That's for sure. We take for granted the people that we have our availability around us. We're so focused on our telephones, on social media all the time, without paying attention to the love of our life or around ourselves. And we continue saying, "Oh, I don't have anyone in my life. I feel lonely. Oh, I cannot do this." And then the people are available, just waiting for us to reach out.
Everybody, especially coming out of COVID, everybody to a certain extent, their lives have been upended, and a lot of people are lonely. And some people legitimately don't know how to reach out. They don't know how to reciprocate. So just be kind and understand that not everybody is going to respond to you. When I was driving the bus, I said hello to every human being and dog who got on the bus. And I got a response back of somebody that would say, "Well, nice to see you too," or "I hope you have a great day," or something like that. Maybe 10% of the time. Most of the time, people just ignored me, and they just walked on by because it was so unexpected. Occasionally, I would have occasionally I'd have somebody turn around and say, "What'd you say?" Because they thought I said something mean or rude or nasty, and I would say, "I hope you have a nice day." And they're like, "Oh." And they turn around. So that, all it takes is to be kind. And you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to do what I do. You can do it just by yourself. And by the way, just your smile when you're at the checkout stand at the grocery store and you've got a clerk that's been standing on their feet for 7 hours and the last person was a butthead, and you walk up and say, "How you doing?" and give them your smile, you can change their whole day.
That's absolutely true. Yes.
And I implore everybody to do that.
I know, exactly. Just the power of a smile, of just seeing someone in their eye, looking someone in the eye, just, I don't know, it's like, you exist, I see you, like a lot of people feel like they're not seen because there's also this avoidance of looking into each other's eyes. And so it's hard to connect sometimes because of, I don't know what it is, if it's shame or something, of really, really showing themselves in the real light. And I think that's the most beautiful thing, when we can get to be ourselves, the real ourselves, without trying to have, masks and pretending something that we're not, no?
And I get it. There are a lot of, as an example, you are a pretty woman, and so you do have to protect yourself. But there's nothing that says you can't say with a nice, polite smile and say hello. That's humanity. And there are a lot of people that are, I don't want to say a lot, but there are people that are scared of other people, and with many times with just cause. So just within what you can do, just be as kind as you can.
Yes. I smile all the time. It's my signature. I can't stop smiling. So yeah, everyone gets a smile whether they want it or not.
And that's why you're part of the family on Positive Talk Radio. You like to smile, you like to talk to people. And you are You are really, really down to earth. You can see in your soul through your eyes that you are a really good person at heart.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I feel it. I know. Oh my God, good education, good roots, and good head on over my shoulder. I have good examples in my life as well, and so yeah. It's what I was going to say. I was going to say that being being a person who I mean, I come from another country, and when I moved
No
here,
kidding.
when I moved here and I was in school, I smile at everyone and I say hello, and I remember there was this girl, this woman, young lady, she went and complained because I was overly friendly. She said, "Oh,
Yeah.
she's always say hello." Because she should understand that we're Nordic in here, we're Scandinavian, we don't want to say hello back.
Oh, hopefully she will wake up one day and realize that's it's a lot better to be kind and loving to other people because it comes back to you. It really does. And some people that takes them a while to figure that out. But hopefully, as she grows over time, that
Yeah,
she'll figure out that it's a lot better to be loving and kind than it is to be hiding who you are.
exactly.
So,
So I want to ask you in your career, what's been your favorite experience, positive experience in the show? If you have one or two, favorite experience in the show.
yes, indeed. But I'll tell you what. Let me answer that question. I'm going
Okay.
to step into my little role here, as we need to take a break. But I will answer that question. So what are some of my favorite episodes on the show and experiences on the show? We will answer that question when we come back. You're listening to Positive Talk Radio. Cayetana is the queen who's running the show, but I'm just kind of here just to be here. So and so thank you for listening to KKNW 1150 AM, and we'll be right back.
Do you need to boost your sales? Join our partnership program. Each quarter, we promote 10 partner businesses. What will you get? The company will produce one 30-second video for your business. Your website links on positivetalkradio.net and KMmedia.pro. One dedicated podcast or radio show per month. One video Instagram reel. One YouTube short. One 60-second clip for social media taken from your interview, and at least one commercial airplay per show. All podcast and video commercials are within the fabric of the show and will remain in the show forever. Visit KMmedia.pro to book a consultation today.
When you want to say more than words communicate, you can with flowers. Your custom boutique floral studio in Bothell, Washington is anaturaldesign.com, connecting you to nature through the language of flowers. Where your people are is where our flowers are beautiful. Your success is our goal.
For being our appreciated listener, you can use promo code PTR20 at checkout to receive 20% off your order.
anaturaldesign.com at your fingertips today.
We believe in the power of telling your stories. We want to help yours be seen and heard. At the Pacific Northwest Collaborative Magazine, our purpose is to connect you to your community. Let's begin by celebrating the accomplishments of local artists featured in this brand new digital magazine. Here, you can learn about opportunities to creatively come together and support our local community and neighbors through the gift of art and service. If your business or organization would like to take part in this magazine, message us on Instagram at pnw.collab. You can download our free digital magazine at KMmedia.pro today.
Thank you to our dedicated fans. We are updating our live on-air schedule to make it super easy for you to hang out with us 5 days a week, Monday through Friday at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We broadcast on YouTube, Facebook, and live on Fridays with Kixie 880 a.m. Seattle Live. You can find our library to binge all the podcast platforms. We can't wait to see you at 3 p.m. Monday through Friday, starting September 4th, Labor Day 2023.
And welcome back to Positive Talk Radio. My name is Kevin McDonald, and Cayetana, and I can't pronounce her last name, but I'm not going to, is with us, and she's acting as the host today. But before we go there, Cayetana, I've got to mention that in 2003, when I started this show, we would go on the air and they would give me at the end of the hour, they'd give me a little CD, and I could then take the CD. And if somebody wanted to download the show, I could send them the CD. This is before a lot of the technology is out there now. And so when we did the shows, they were there and like a poof of smoke, they were gone. And they were in the ether someplace and they couldn't be listened to. Now we do audio and video on KKNW and Kixie on Fridays at 3. And we also do the live show, which goes to YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We also have a podcast that goes to 50 different podcast locations and is viewed in over 100 countries around the world and listened to in 100 countries and all 50 states. We are able to get our message out in a much bigger way. And we have a magazine. If you go to KMmedia.pro, you can go and download the magazine, which is about Northwest artists. It's beautifully done. I just have to say. And we also have a TV show that we have started, and it's called Wellness Blooms in conjunction with A Natural Design. We have created this show, which is on the Bloom TV, Bloom TV network. And you can go there, and they've got all kinds of shows that are about flowers and stuff. Ours, by the way, happens to be the best, but that's just me. And so I have been, when you asked what is the biggest thing that has happened in any of the shows, I mean, I've talked with Neil Donald Walsh several times, who wrote Conversations with God. I've talked to Gary Zukav, who wrote Seed of the Soul and was on Oprah many times. I've talked to James Arthur Ray, who is in The Secret. I've talked to John Edward, who is the acclaimed psychic medium. I've talked to John Holland, another medium, Kim Miller, who was my friend and accomplice back in 2003. But the most impactful interview that I ever did involved, but let me explain. Back in 2002, Mark and I, who's the one who talked me into doing radio, were sitting in his living room. And I said, I want to learn more. How can I learn more? And he said, well, I want you to go to a metaphysical bookstore and I want you to buy the first book. And I implore everyone to do this. Go to Barnes & Noble or go to a metaphysical bookstore if there's one in your neighborhood, and then buy the first book that speaks to you, speaks to your soul. And in my case, it happened to be a book called Journey of Souls by Dr. Michael Newton. And he wrote this book, and it's about what happens to us in our lives, between lives, and what is going on the other side. And it's really comprehensive, and it really took me to another level. Well, in 2004, I had the opportunity to interview him. He's passed on now, and but that was probably the most influential interview that I feel like I've ever done, even though I've done well over 2,000 interviews in my career. So I've been doing this a while and am not quitting for any particular reason at all. So, but thank you for asking that question.
You're welcome. So your mission is to declare freedom from hate, division, and fear. How did this mission come about, and why is it so important for you to your personality? Oh, water.
Hold on, I just had to cough real quick. I've always believed that what Positive Talk should be, and in 2003, I don't know if anybody remembers, if you go back or were alive in 2003, but we were in the middle of doing the Iraq War. and this is the second one, and this is the one that didn't go so well. And I wanted to create, rather than follow the crowd, which is where everybody else was talking about the things that were wrong with other people and other places and things, I wanted to create something positive. And that continues to this day, because if you want to go listen to Sean Hannity or any of those guys, you can, but it doesn't uplift your soul. It doesn't show you why you're here. It doesn't help you. It doesn't explain what it is that we are here to do, which has nothing to do with politics or religion per se. And so I started my Independence Report, which has 450 episodes, and that was to declare our independence from hate, division, and fear. I wanted to go back to my roots, which is positive talk radio. So I brought that forward. So not only are we working to educate, empower, entertain, and enrich people's lives, we also want to eliminate hate, division, and fear, because that accomplishes nothing. Nothing. All it does is make people different from each other, resistant to each other, and that's not how we are intended to live our lives in this world. Does that make any sense at all?
It does make sense. Yeah, fear is that what keep us, slaves to ideologies that don't help us, be free.
That's right. Fear does not allow you to be free, because you're always afraid of something.
Mm-hmm.
When you don't no longer have fear in your life, when you are looking for the best in people, the best in the situations, the best in all the experiences that you have in your life, even though sometimes they can be a little testy and they can be a little difficult, but your experiences are designed to help you live the best life that you can, and you get to do that if you say yes to life. And that's what we talked about that last hour. That's what we do. We say yes to life.
Yeah, definitely, all the time. Uh, can you share a specific moment or experience that inspired you to focus your efforts on promoting positivity through talk radio?
I have always been a positive person. For lack of, I've always smiled at people. I care about people. Some of the best jobs I've had, Cayetana, were jobs that I had as a host at Denny's, being able to walk up to people and say, "Hi, how you doing today? How many are in your party?" In those days, we would say, "Do you want smoking or non?" And then I would take them to where they would get to seat, where they sat down, and your waiter will be with you in just a second. We're glad you're here. Or to be the cashier and say, "This is how much it is. I hope you had a great time. Come on back. We'll love to see you again." That's just who I am. And because that, I try and do things that make me feel good. And because I know that if I'm doing things that make me feel good, they are inherently good, because that means that I'm fulfilling my mission that I was here to do. And that, as a matter of fact, there was one time I was standing at the counter at the Denny's, and a gentleman was paying, and a waitress, her name was Sylvia, was standing right next to me. And he goes, this Denny's has a different flavor to it. And so Sylvia pointed her thumb at me, and she goes, "That's him. He's the one that's causing all of that, because you're raising the vibration and the energy of the people and the things around you, and it makes everyone, for whatever reason, it just makes everybody happier. I could do it on a bus with a bunch of grumpy people that didn't want to be there because they had to go to work, and they were with other people who may not have smelled as nice as they wanted and things. But if you're positive with everyone, you can literally change the vibration of the people that are around you. And I learned that, and it continues to reinforce itself every day.
It's true, and that same example I can do it with my son. He's moody, he doesn't want anything, and then I said something positive, like, "Please stop kissing me," which is not, and he smiled. Don't kiss me too much. I smile. I good. When you say something positive to people, really change the vibe and the atmosphere and the way we think in the moment. I have been so many times upset. Same with friends, and when I share something positive to them or people in the street, their whole aura, my whole aura, is changed instantly. Just with positive thought, doing something positive to people, and yes, sharing a nice word every day with someone.
Well, and I do have to say, just as a disclaimer, that it is totally self-serving, because when I do these shows and when I get to talk to some extraordinary people, it makes me feel good. So it makes me feel better and gives me the energy. So it's a little self-serving that I do this, but I'm hoping that other people will get the idea that giving somebody a little bit of hope, doing some great things in the world, volunteering, doing the things that you can do to make our world a better place becomes more commonplace. Right now, it's not very, but I'm hoping that through our work and through my working with you and Holly and Demi and the others, that we can all make it a better place for everybody to be, including Eric and Nathan and Benny at the station.
Yes, definitely. The behind the camera guys.
Yes.
Yes, for sure. Um, what and you're a creative consultant and you have evolving ideas too. And your role in as the main person, the creative consultant in Positive Talk Radio. How do you help others evolve their ideas in a positive direction?
Thank you. By the way, that is a really good question, because I get that from my management days when I was a general manager of a restaurant, and we used to we had I was in charge of 70 people, and uh, 3 or 4 managers and stuff, and the whole idea was for us to work together in a positive way for the betterment of each other and the betterment of our customers. And it was important that I did that for them, and have taken that forward. I want to provide everybody with the opportunity to be. Do you know who Pete Carroll is?
No, I don't. Maybe by faith, I know.
Well, I got to tell you, Pete Carroll is a god to me, because he's the coach of the Seattle Seahawks,
Okay.
and his mission in life is to make every player, every coach, even the cooks behind the line to be the best that they can be, to help them not to give them the best that they can be, but to help them understand that they can be the best that they can be. So he works with them all the time to do that. That's what I try and do, is to try and help people be the best that they can be, and to live the best lives that they can, and to have the most impact of a positive nature on people and humanity.
Definitely. Wow. That was a beautifully said. Can you provide an example of a project or idea that underwent positive transformation through the help that you provided to these individuals or individual?
There are many, many people who, over the last 20 years, that have listened to the shows, have listened to the repeats of the shows, that have reached out and said, that made me feel good, or I appreciate what you're doing. We're continuing to grow the brand, because it's important. It's important that we work to take care of folks, and to work together for the betterment of mankind. And what I'm finding is that people are open to our message. It's just a matter of reaching them. And so that's what we're all about now, is to reach a larger audience. And people feel, Cayetana, there were people, and there are people still today, because AM radio is not necessarily able to be listened to in their house. So it's not like they can be driving along, listening to the show, and then they park, go in the house, and turn on the radio and listen more. So there are people that will stay in their car listening to the show parked in their driveway because they can't get it in their house. There are other people that will say, and this is what just energizes the heck out of me. I had a gal a month or so ago. She calls in and she says, I've been having this problem all day, and I was just, tuning the dial to decide what I was going to listen to. And, you guys were talking about what I was feeling. And so now I really appreciate what you're talking about, because it means a lot to me, and you've helped me a lot in this conversation. I believe, and I've said this many times, that it's not my job to determine who listens to this broadcast and when. My job is to do the best job I can with the people that I invite on the radio, and with people like you and the other folks that I'm working with, Natural Design and everyone, that it's not my job to determine who listens to it and when. That's the universe's job. I have employed them to determine when people are going to hear it and what it's going to mean to them. That I can't control that. All I can do is do the best I can. And that's what I try and do every day.
The beautiful thing about positive talk radio, and to me, is being that whenever I feel like I need to be connected, I'm not feeling grounded, I'm feeling stressed out for something, and I go to the channel and I pick a subject, whatever I'm reading there that resonates with how I'm feeling at the moment, and I listen to it, and immediately I start, everything start becoming calmer, and I start seeing, in a different light. I can breathe better. My day transforms immediately. Instead of focusing in the negative, all of a sudden I changed the way I thought, just because I had the opportunity to listen to that.
I appreciate you saying that, because that means the world to me. That's the whole reason why I do what I do, and why Positive Talk Radio exists, is because I want to be able to, and understand something. And I hope everybody gets this. It's not about me. It's all I am is the facilitator. All I do is to bring great people that we can all learn from, that are interested in, and they're interested in a better life for themselves. And so it becomes a great circle of relationship building and friendships and stuff. It's a remarkable thing to see. And again, it's not about me. I would be just as happy promoting you as the host of Positive Talk Radio.
Yeah. Thank you. So I have a lot of friends who ask me, what is the best? Can you share, some of the good, episodes of Positive Talk Radio? And I said, like, there's so many, but just tell me how you feeling today, and I can send you straight to the right episode. Because it's like a beautiful menu of things that you can, what I want to list. Okay, this is for empowering this is for that. And, the message is always good.
Well, and I have to tell you that, so I don't remember, because you have to understand, I do 5 to 7, and I've done as many as 15 episodes in a week. And they're automatically sent up. My Independence Report's got 450 episodes. Positive Talk Radio's got 650 or so. And so I forget a lot of them, but I will tell you that there are some people who truly, truly, truly reach my heart. There's a girl by the name of a wonderful lady by the name of Kim Ling Ling. She has something that she calls nuggets of hope. And she'll take a little rock that has hope painted on it, and it's a real pretty little, shiny rock, and it's black, and it has gold lettering of hope. And she'll walk up to a perfect stranger in the small town in Pennsylvania where she lives, and who's looks like they're having a tough day, and she will drop this little rock in their hand and says, "Here's your nugget of hope for today. I hope that this helps you." And then she'll turn around and walk away. It's not about her evangelizing anything. It's just about her trying to make a difference in another human being's life. So she is one of my all-time favorites. She also is a military veteran, and we just had Veterans Day, and so um, she and her friends for free send out um, care packages to soldiers. Hundreds of thousands of these have gone out to soldiers that are overseas. They may be in a bunker in some place, and there'll be a package that'll have um, um, beef jerky and candy and all kinds of things. So those are the people, and they're not people that you might know, but they have an impact in the people in their community, and their community knows who they are. And I love talking to those people because you don't have to be famous to make a difference. You just have to make a difference.
Exactly. That was one of my favorites too. And I have exercised what she's done, and it's just beautiful to see people smiling. Even around my neighborhood, I'm surrounded by, homeless people in the streets. There's I think every neighbor, every neighborhood nowadays have, the one person who is is lost in drugs, but they part of the neighborhood, and we recognize each other. We recognize each other because we're human. We don't forget. And there's something when I get close to them that changes. It's some sort of warmth. I don't feel afraid when I'm close to them, just one on one. But when they're a little bit violent, I a little bit. But I feel like they're part of what I am right now, my community, and um, just smiling at them. It's just um, makes them feel like they are seen by people. That you're not completely ignored. That you have value. Thank you for saying this to me. Thank you for giving me this hope of nugget of hope, and or a beautiful message, or just a simple smile.
Well, and you talk about people that have meant something to me in my show days. The last show that I did on KKNW in 2003, we had booked a gal, and I'm thinking hard of her name, but anyway, and she's a singer songwriter, and she was going through downtown one day, and she saw people going through the dumpsters, and she decided, her and her husband decided that they were going to make sandwiches and take them downtown. That has turned 20 years later into Operation Sack Lunch, and that has become a really big deal. They've done thousands of millions of meals at this point.
Wow. Today I was just having a conversation with my boyfriend about food waste and where all of that goes. If we were at Whole Foods and we were just commenting where this food goes, right? Like, does it go to the people who are hungry in the streets or not? And I mean, I don't know. I guess I knew in the past that they don't give food like that because of problems that might be contaminated if someone gets sick, but I would love to join forces with your friends. They need voluntaries. That's the right word, right?
Military?
Voluntary work.
Voluntary work. Yeah.
Voluntary work. Yes, exactly. Yes. If they need some, I would like to join forces with them and help them and go with my children and do what we, help whatever we can.
Well, I can tell you this: we got big plans for you, Toots.
Yeah.
So don't you go running away. But if you can do that, if everybody could do one thing a day, and if it's nothing more than smiling at the checker at the grocery store, or those poor people that work at the DMV. I can't imagine how tough a time it is for them because everybody's mad at them all the time.
Oh my God.
If you can just be nice to people, you'll be amazed at the results that you can get. And if nothing else, it'll make you feel good. It'll make you feel like you're giving a difference.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to take over the again.
I want to ask you one more thing, because I think like humor is a very important part of this show, and I really appreciate you and how you make everything like happy and lively and not so serious. Of course we say serious things, but you just make it even. Thank you so much. It's beautiful.
Well, thank you for that, and I really enjoy talking to people. I just really do. I even when I was a shoe salesman at Nordstrom's when I was 18, I've always been around people. I love people. I love the people that want to make a difference. In my tender age at this point, I want to make a difference. I thank you and Holly and Demi and Dana and all the folks that are participating with me, all dedicated to making a difference. It's because of people like you guys that allow me to do what I'm doing. So I want to thank you and KKNW. Without KKNW, I couldn't be doing it either. So I want to thank everybody involved. I am the luckiest man on the face of the earth. That's all I can tell you. And you have been listening to a really cool episode, I think, of Positive Talk Radio. I want to thank everybody for listening, and I hope that you'll listen to it more often. And by the way, be kind to one another because each other's all we've got. We'll see you on Friday.
That was beautiful.